Welcome back to another episode of
Queening Out.
It's your girl, Miss Laganja Estranja.
I'm Mr. Joseph Shepherd.
And today we are queening out about our fans, our buds,
Our buds.
all of you. We love you. We're so excited to see what you got cooking in our inbox. Now, if you don't know, you can email us at laganjos@gmail.com. That's LAGANJOES@gmail.com. I did it wrong still?
No, you
Oh,
did it
okay.
right. I was just laughing because it took you just a minute.
I don't know. Maybe because we took a break, I'm just a little off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a little bit break.
Yeah.
So-
And I didn't even get high in between.
Have you gotten high after you've had your surgery?
Did I not talk about this? I got high one time after my surgery and I felt like I could feel all the incision wounds.
No.
It was crazy, Mary. It tripped me out. So no, I haven't been smoking weed. Now I will admit last night after the performance, I did hit a joint for content, but I didn't inhale. So does that really count? I don't know. But yeah,
Why didn't you inhale?
I'm sober.
And you feel content with that?
I really do. It's so rewarding. I just feel like my whole adult life, I have been numbing myself, running from myself, and I just finally feel like I am the beautiful butterfly that I am, and I don't need a substance to take me away from me. And I just find like, you know, I love CBD. I still believing in using THC to CBD ratio creams on a lot of my, you know, pain and soreness. But ultimately, like, yeah, I'm not smoking cigarettes, no vapes. Well, I am doing the Ripple, which is like a nicotine-free vape that has like herbs and essences in it. So I am doing that a bit. But yeah, I'm just trying to eat healthy and be clean and just like love thy body and step into my truth. And that's why I'm trying to, dress up a little bit more with pizzazz, because I think for so long as a trans woman, I really wanted to fit in. I didn't want to get clocked. And now that I've got my body done, I'm like, let the girls out.
As you should.
Feel it and just be the creative artist that I am, you know?
Do you know that when we were at El Compadre the other day,
Uh-huh.
you got so many looks?
I did?
Yes.
Well, wasn't I in my faja?
You were in your faja, but literally you got so many looks. And then when I was rewatching back the video and looking at the comments, everybody was like, Laganja,
Oh,
today
no, I had
you
that
look
green dress on.
Yes.
That's why, see? Because it's bright. And that's the thing. Like, I'd gone into the grocery store the other day, and this woman, like, was like, you look so unique. And I really got in my head. And I was like, oh my God, she's reading me. I've been clocked. And then I realized, like, no, I did look unique. And that is what I want. I want to be unique. My whole life I've been unique. And I just got into this whole, well, I'm a trans woman now. I must fit into society and how a woman dresses. But the truth of the matter is, no, I am an artist above anything else. And I think our, outer appearance is important. It is a form, it's one of the greatest forms of expression. And if I can make people smile and make people say, like, well, maybe I should wear more color, or maybe I should throw 16 butterflies all over my outfit, then
As you should.
I love it.
I went to Target the other day and I was in the elevator and there was this lady and she probably was like 75 years old and she had hot pink hair.
Yeah.
And this gay guy gets into the elevator with me and he's like, oh my gosh, ma'am, I just want to tell you, I love your hair. And she goes, thank you.
Yeah.
When you get this old, you have to do something to make sure that people pay attention to you.
Oh,
And I was like,
that's cool. I love it though. I love it.
I just love when people can tap into their own artistic selves. And I
Yeah.
feel like that's what you've been doing recently.
Yeah, I think, we live in a world where we are, born and taught that fitting in is what life's about. And I've always been one to stand out. It wasn't until I transitioned that I was like, oh, I should just wear like normal denim dresses and like keep it simple so that like I pass. And I finally am in a place in my life where I feel like I do pass and that I want to stand out again. And like I literally was talking to Alyssa before coming here and like showing her this look. And she was like, I'm just so proud of you. She was like, I remember meeting Jay Jackson as like a young little Twinkie boy who would wear like sequin vests with bow ties and had crazy colored hair. And she was like, you lost a bit of that. And she's like, it's so good to see it come back and to see you not take life so seriously and to just not be afraid to express yourself so openly.
I also feel like your relationship with Alyssa has gotten a lot better.
Yeah. Yeah. I
I
mean,
feel like this global aspect, you being able to talk to her a little bit more. I feel like, when I spoke to you for the first time for Exposed,
we weren't talking then, huh? Yeah. I mean, we took a 5-year extended timeout, as we like to call it. But, that is my family. That is my brother. That's my mother, my mentor, my friend. And I am so grateful. I think that also this transition, this physical transformation that I just went under, it did bring us closer. Because I feel like now we pretty much talk like every other day. So it's a blessing. And to, have someone like her who used to dress very boring. Like, I don't know if you clocked that.
No, I know
She used
that,
to dress very boring because she, again, was from the mentality of it's Texas and fit in and don't call attention to yourself. And to see where she is now dressing kooky and crazy. And, she said it at my party. She's like, you've inspired me. And I don't think she said that specifically, but I know I did. There's no way that lady doesn't dress crazy now because I helped her to be let your freak flag fly.
Yeah.
You are a big old fagola, Mary. Put on the glitter and wear your little cockatoo one piece.
A fagola.
I'll still never get over that, by the way. You know what I'm talking about on Global All Stars when she had that bird? It was like a jumpsuit with tassels. I was just like, the woman I knew years ago would have never. And look at her go. So to all you people out there watching, put on something crazy. Put on another accessory. Be your best self. Don't be afraid to be different.
Well, speaking of different, let's get into our first email.
Okay.
I don't even know if that was a proper transition. But
I
who
thought
cares?
it was great because I was talking to them about being different.
And then we're going to get something
episode's
different.
about them.
Yes.
I love it.
Dear Laganja and Joseph, I just wanted to let you know that your vulnerable moments and personal conversations from the past month have made me feel so seen. I've learned this year through therapy that self-compassion is one of the biggest things we need to give ourselves. I've taken the following quote to heart, and it helped me retrain my brain to kinder to myself, and I hope it helps both of you. The quote is, instead of merciless judging and criticizing yourself for various inadequacies or shortcomings, self-compassion means you are kind and understanding when confronted with your failings. After all, whoever said you were supposed to be perfect? Thank you both for sharing so much about your personal struggles and triumphs, but also for never ceasing to make me laugh every single episode. Lots of love, Jordana.
I mean, that couldn't have been literally the more perfect segue. Like, literally,
Right?
That is so beautiful. I love that.
Instead of mercilessly judging and criticizing yourself for various inadequacies or shortcomings, self-compassion means you are kind and understanding when confronted with your failings. After all, whoever said you were supposed to be perfect?
I love that.
That's beautiful.
And I love the idea of being imperfectly perfect. That's something I've been taking with myself recently too, because I am a perfectionist.
Yeah.
I do strive for greatness. I do strive to have everything be as perfect as possible. And I love that about myself. But sometimes it's one of the hardest things about myself because I'm never achieving what I see or want for myself.
Yeah.
And I think, again, as a Capricorn who is so dedicated to the work, it is important to remember to be compassionate to ourselves first and foremost. You know, my therapist always says, like, you need to talk to your inner child. And how would you talk to them? Would you be as harsh to them as you are to yourself?
Yeah. I feel like the past 3 or 4 weeks, I will say, I felt like I've come into my own. I feel like I've started to accept that not everything is perfect. And I think that for myself, just opening up on Delta, opening up with you, like I felt more on my own. When I opened up about my mom, Isaac literally told me, he was like, I don't know what happened. But he was like, the way that you were talking, the way that you have been more of yourself recently has been amazing. And I think that for me, I just always worried.
Yeah.
I was so worrying about what everybody's going to think about my mom. It's a bad thing to say, but I always took other people's opinions of my parental figures or people around me. I viewed those as more important. I viewed their opinions as more important. I didn't want people to think, oh, my mom's a bad person. I didn't want people to think, oh, my dad's a bad person or whatever. And so I just always wanted to chalk it up to like, oh, everything's perfect and dandy and everything.
Yeah.
But I think I got to the point where I was like, I'm just holding so much back that I can't even be myself.
Right.
Because I'm trying to cover up for some bullshit that
Or cover
They
up your
did.
truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I will say that like I'm so grateful for you guys at home for just like listening to me and listening to Laganja and just having a conversation with us. I think that we just need to be ourselves more. Reading your emails and reading your comments has been so inspiring to me just to keep being myself.
Yes.
Like when we were at your beautiful metamorphosis, invention, reincarnation moment, I just felt like in those moments, I was like, I don't think you know, Laganja. Like, I don't think that you take in a moment of what you also are doing for so many other people. You're doing it for yourself, but you being yourself is helping myself be myself.
Totally.
I'm literally like, oh my goodness, like every time I can get to come here and talk to you and chat with you, I'm like, ooh, what am I going to open about? What am I going to open up about myself today? It's like, what's going to come out? How am I going to feel? It's like a baby therapy session, but it's with a friend and it just feels good.
Yeah, it does feel good. And I think there has been a weight lifted off of you, right? And I think that is the thing. You know, sometimes we put so much pressure on ourselves. And, you know, sometimes we need that pressure.
Yeah.
You know, that's how diamonds are made. But sometimes we do have to say enough is enough. And it's time to just be honest because the truth will set you free. And I really do believe that. And I do believe that we're so lucky that the people who watch this are supporting us, are relating to us, and are giving us the freedom to be who we've both wanted to be. You know, I can't tell you over these last couple of episodes how great it's been to just have a conversation with you. Sure, we have a topic like Halloween or, you know, whatever, like today it's everyone's emails, but to be able to have the freedom to just be friends and talk and not have such a constraint of like Drag Race review looks and this and that, like that is freedom. And I think ultimately you guys have given us that. You've given us the freedom to just be ourselves. And I'm so excited to see where this podcast goes. You know, I know we're having to do shortened episodes right now because of my schedule coming up in Thailand and everything. But I think it's really cool that we're doing it this way. And I can't wait to get back in 2025 and to make this even better because I dream of a place where, you know, we're making money off of this podcast and we can take it on the road and we can really get more involved in the people who watch this and have them on stage to tell a story or to have a conversation with us or to have a therapy session where we bring in, you know, a certified therapist to talk about these harder issues or I don't know. I just think there's so much more possibilities for this.
Oh, yeah.
And that's really exciting.
No, I think that that's the biggest thing too. It's just like reading your comments, reading everything that you are putting on these videos. It just makes me see the world from a different point of view. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but it's just like, I feel for the longest time, probably you have felt this way. I felt this way. We've been in a Drag Race bubble, which is great and wonderful. And it's given us, like we've said before, our platform.
Absolutely.
But at the end of the day, we also are a person behind that.
Yes.
And we have a moment, we have this like momentum, we have talent, we have things that you may have never seen, but like just being able to just sit here, chat with you and being able to open up has been the most eye-opening experience I think I've experienced in the past few years.
Oh, so well, thank you. And you know, I feel like I may look like Glinda the Good Witch, but we're not trying to live. We're not trying to live in the bubble.
I thought you were about to say the wicked fantasy, but I'm down for the bubble.
I see what you did there, but
no,
we're not trying to stay in the bubble, right? Like, you know, yes, I feel lucky as a trans person to live in LA and to be in the bubble because that's my daily life. But I think when it comes to art making, both you and I are ready to burst the bubble, are ready to explore the other options out there and not just be one little thing.
Oh, yeah.
Shall we read another email?
Yeah. Do you want to read a long email?
Okay, sure.
Oh, it's all highlighted. You may have to go down a little bit. Just giving you a heads up.
God,
it's a big one.
Hello, Laganja and Joseph. My name is Jack, and I live in Paris, France, and I'm a massive fan of yours. I want to start by apologizing if my English is not very good. Well, so far, babe, you're killing it. First of all, I want to thank you for the amazing content you provide us every week. You have such a good chemistry together, and it allows us, the viewers, to enjoy you even more. I also want to congratulate both of you guys for sharing with us your emotions and feelings and the personal things you're experiencing, like Joseph with his mother and Laganja with her transitioning. I must assume that's not an easy thing to do, but nonetheless, you let us in and it actually helps a lot of us out there. Watching last week's Queening Out, I literally started crying when Laganja spoke about her depression, about being tough on herself, and about being her own worst enemy, because I can totally relate to that. Since you asked for proposals for the podcast outside of the Drag Race world, I came up with an idea and some things that Laganja evoked that reinforced my idea. I wonder if you guys could do a podcast about mental health, to educate people out there and to help people who are struggling with mental illness. The main idea is to have a guest per episode, and each episode focused on a specific mental illness, such as depression, bipolar disorder, borderline personality disorder, etc. The guest of each episode is a random person suffering from the illness, answering questions about the pathology, how they navigate through it on a daily basis, those types of questions to help people who are suffering from the same disease and letting them know they're not alone and educating others. I don't know how hard it is to produce such a show, which, let me tell you, it's very hard, and Joseph does an amazing job, you guys, doing this. But it is just an idea, and feel free to throw it away or adjust it as you like. I've always wanted to open my own channel to talk about those issues. I've always wanted to open my own channel to talk about those issues and educate people, but I'm not as well known, and since you are, I thought maybe you could be the voice and reach the largest amount of people. I personally suffer from borderline personality disorder. I am also very tough on myself and can be my worst enemy. Growing up, I felt different and was bullied a lot for being an outcast. I started to build a tough skin, try to fit in, and feel strong. But little did I know I was only losing my true self. I played all different kinds of characters depending on who was around me. Nowadays, I'm still trying to find the real me, lost somewhere inside. Luckily, I see a therapist and I take medicines to heal. If you guys do decide to do this type of podcast, I'd be more than happy to share my story. I'd be more than happy to share my story for people who think they're worthless because of their mental health. I love you both so much and keep doing what you do. You're a great inspiration for young queers like me. Love, Jack. Aww, that's so special. And thank you, Jack, for opening up and sharing that with us. I think, again, that's why this podcast is getting so cool, because it's showing people out there that you can say anything to us. We're not going to judge you. This is a safe space. I think, sure, there have been some haters in the comments, but it was mainly those worried about Drag Race. So I feel like now we've really been cultivating a positive space, and those that are watching, do want to learn and do want to feel safe to express their truths.
Yeah.
So thank you. Thank you, Jack, for allowing us in on your life. And I love that idea, don't you?
Yeah. I also think that Jack put it in a interesting way. They were talking about mental illness, and I was looking, I think, on TikTok the other day, and there was this guy who came up on my feed that was talking about ADHD and autism, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm kind of relating. And they basically said in that moment, they were like, stop viewing these things as a disorder or an illness. These are words that
are negative.
Negative connotation that have nothing to do with you as an individual. Do you actually have a disorder? Are you actually have an illness? No, you do not. You are just wired a different way, and you should take that moment and not view it as something negative. And I think that when you were using the words mental illness, I was just like, you know what? You may have bipolar disorder. You may have things that you are dealing with, but don't view it as an illness. Literally view it as a superpower. What is it that is different about you that other people do not have? And how do you use that to the best of your ability? I think that this was wonderfully said. I love this idea, and I'm totally down to have people on, totally down to talk to you about your story. I think we all have different things that we deal with. And it's just nice to see somebody that also has those same issues or those same things that we're dealing with.
I agree. And I definitely think it's all in how we frame it. It kind of goes back to what I was saying when I was coming out of recovery and talking about not saying the word hurt and not saying the word pain, because those have a negative connotation. And I really do believe that, for a long time, they considered trans people to be mentally ill, right? And now we're learning that's not necessarily true, although it is. We're all crazy. But no, that's a joke. But I think it's true. Illness, I don't love the term, and I don't want to police the way we talk, because I think we do too much of that now, But I do think it's important, like you said, to recognize that it is what makes you special. It is what makes you different. And as I was saying earlier in this episode, being different is beautiful. And to celebrate your unique quirks as opposed to see it as something that weighs you down, I think helps you attack it in a better, more positive way.
Because I think, like, to that point, when I was diagnosed as being on the spectrum, I viewed it as a disorder for a while.
Sure.
I viewed
You
it
were
as
told
something.
to.
Yeah. And I was viewed as something very negative, and I was like,
Yeah.
this isn't what I want. I don't like this. And then it became, oh, things make sense now.
Right.
Things are clicking. Why am I mad at that?
Right.
Why am I mad at being who I am as an individual? I may not be the definition of what the world views as normal,
Yeah.
but I am my own individual. So
Yeah.
I need to tap into that. So I think that that's the greatest thing. Like, just
And more
tap into
importantly,
yourself.
now you get to leave parties early and be like, sorry, I have to. I'm so mad.
That's the best
So
thing.
mad and
I'm
jealous
like,
about
nope,
that. I'm like,
good.
now I wish I had it so I could be like, I'm sorry. There's too many. I'm over some
It
stimulated.
was so, I will say, it was so funny when we were at that Posse Pride party, and I was like, I cannot do this. And you looked at me and you went, I wish I could do the same. And I was like, too.
I do. But see, that's what I mean. If you can, instead of it being like, oh, I can't even go to parties, I get overstimulated. It's like, well, I don't really enjoy those parties anyway. And so I'm glad I get to leave.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's all in how you look at it. And I think with depression, you know, for me, which is obviously something that I've been so open about, it's like, I try to look at it as it makes me stronger. It makes me look at myself more in depth. And it makes me confront the hard truth of life, which is, you know, said so best in the Buddhist belief, which is, I'm gonna butcher it, but something about you have to accept suffering, that suffering is a part of life, right? And so I think by having depression, this is something that I've still making friends with, but I'm coming to terms with more importantly, and knowing that like it's all in how I deal with when I am in those depressive or manic modes.
Do you realize when you're in a depressive mode? Do you
Yes.
realize in that moment, or do you realize it afterwards?
I'm getting really good at identifying it now.
Wow.
Yeah, that's something I've worked really hard on. Most of it comes from exhaustion. When I'm exhausted, depression sneaks in. And the other main trigger for me is money. When I'm poor, I think I'm a loser. And then when I think I'm a loser, I want to kill myself. So it's sort of like that's something, again, I've been working on a lot, is like, I've had suicidal thoughts my whole life. And I can have them weekly. I can have them daily. And that's because I'm a dramatic motherfucker.
I thought you were about to say that's because you're a drag queen. And I was like, well,
Also true. But so now I'm learning to identify as it's happening and to remind myself that just because I'm experiencing a momentary sadness does not mean my depression has crept back in, does not mean I want to kill myself, does not mean that there's something wrong with me. It is a momentary sadness, and I cannot let my emotions get the best of me. So I'm learning, like, you know, meditation, for instance. It's like we think we got to light candles and incense and do some big ceremony. And it's like, actually, no.
Yeah.
You can take a deep breath and take 5 minutes and drink a bottle of water and eat a banana and you're good.
Yeah.
You know, so it's all about reframing and what comes out of our mouth.
I love that.
Yeah.
Are you ready to get into some water?
Uh-oh. Make me sweat.
Because of the fact that we didn't actually get an answer for this, I'm going to reread this email.
Okay.
Hey there, beautiful humans. I absolutely love you both forever and always. Thank you for consistently showing us all authenticity is key to happiness. My question, I've lost all my mojo, all the motivation to do what makes me happy. How do you continue to grow and push forward when everything feels like the universe doesn't want you to be happy? I don't want to give up, but I'm right there, ready to leave it all behind. Any advice would be greatly appreciated. Love you both. Sincerely, the depression-ridden ginger, Justin.
Okay, so now you want me to answer this question for real? I was like, I thought we answered this question. I still stand by water, masturbation. I still stand by it. I don't understand why that wasn't good advice. I mean, look, when you lose your mojo, which I do often, I think it's all about, like I said, speaking to that inner child. How would you tell a child who is beating themselves up to react? So the same kind of kindness you would show with the younger generation, you got to show to yourself. So it's all in how you speak to yourself. Truly. I mean, I think that's sort of the overarching theme of today, right? It's all about, instead of looking at this outfit and being like, I'm a freak, no one's going to love me, I look like a drag queen, I'm a tranny, you know, it's like, no, I am beautiful. I am a butterfly. I am authentically different. I am soaring into this world with the most beautiful body that I've paid lots of money for. And reframing, re-speaking to ourselves and kindness. Because when we get in those places where we feel like shit and we feel like a loser, it's so much easier to let that voice win. And you can't.
I agree with that.
And when you drink water, I'm just kidding.
Justin Water. Can I tell you, when you said that, I literally thought that you knew who the person was and you were calling him Justin Waters. And I was like, oh, she knows who he is. But no, you were just saying water. Justin.
I really am learning the importance of water. Like, I've been getting a lot of lymphatic massages, for drainage and to help the swelling go down from the lipo. And my God, like just drinking water, it helps depression. It helps regulate your system. It helps your skin. I mean, I really do think water is important.
I agree with you.
So,
but that's why I drink sparkling water.
But that isn't as good for you. I prefer sparkling water.
Why is it not good for you?
I don't know. My girlfriend did the research and I believe her, but trust me, it's not. Someone will tell us in the comments and then we'll be able to,
because it gives you gas?
Sparkling water gives you gas?
Well, it makes you burp, right?
Oh, it's that like kind of gas. I thought you meant booty gas. But I just know it's not as good for you. It's different than just normal. Look it up. Let's see.
Is sparkling water as good for you as regular water?
Because I do prefer sparkling with a twist of lime.
Girl.
What's it say?
It says sparkling water is as healthy as regular water and can be a good alternative to soda. Sparkling water is just as hydrating. It causes less damage to tooth enamel than soft drinks, and it improves your digestion.
Will work. Where's the sparkling water?
Bring it on. Well, bring on your emails to us. You can send us an email at laganjos, LAGANJOES @gmail.com. And we will make sure to answer those. This is the end for our episode today.
That's right. We sure do love you guys. We appreciate your support. And we hope you all have a beautiful week wherever you are in the world. We'll see you next week for another episode of Queening Out. Bye, beautifuls.